Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. Today we are talking all about how to get the most out of your coach. So maybe you went ahead and you hired a coach. If you're new to the Tips with Tony podcast, then welcome to me always talking about the benefits of hiring somebody who has done it before, who is 10 steps ahead of you, and that way you don't have to do all the messy stuff alone. There is messiness in change, but it's not so messy that you have no handles on it and it's like impossible to control. Having a coach will really help kind of guide you, helps you to know what to focus on, and can ease the process and get rid of a lot of that frustration. So I highly believe in coaching. But what I think a lot of people struggle with is they finally get the coach and then they forget that just getting the coach isn't what elicits behavior change, isn't what is going to get you to the results that you're looking for. Getting the coach is just an open door invitation to not force you, but to get you to start trying and working towards your goals. Like I said, with a coach, it'll be really helpful to help you identify like what the next steps are so you don't get stuck in overwhelm, but there is work required. And just because you hired a coach doesn't mean magically now you're immediately going to get to your goal, right? So I hope that makes sense. So with that said, I'm just going to assume that you have the perfect fit as your coach. I wanted to give you 3 ways that you can get the most out of your coach. So that way you get double back your investment in just your vitality, your energy, whatever it is, whether you hired a business coach, whether you hired a personal trainer, whether you hired a relationship coach, whatever type of coach that you hired, a dietitian, whatever that is, I hope that you get the absolute most out of it, and this is how I want you to do that. Okay, so assuming clear expectations were set from the jump, you start working with this coach, and you're kind of going along, and you have a question, and you're like, I don't want to bother my coach. I'm not going to ask the question. Ask the question, okay? First tip to get the most out of your coach, no reason to wait, unless they have a certain policy where you're like, are only, going to ask them, questions on the calls. I mean, everyone's boundaries are different, so I understand that. Personally, in my nutrition coaching program, my clients know that they can ask me questions in between. The dietitians that have just joined are already coaching clients. I'm like so excited for them. So they know that they can, reach out to their coach if they've been assigned to one of the dietitians on the team, and they can ask them questions there, and they don't have to wait until their follow-up call to get that answered. Now, with that said, if you're working with a coach and they do have boundaries to say kind of hold your questions until we chat, then write them down. And no question is a stupid question. If you're unclear, get clarity. That's the purpose of a coach. So ask as many questions as you need. Ask, okay? You are not a bother. That is what you hired them for. You are not supposed to be doing this alone, so you should feel supported in the process. So first way to get the most out of your coach is to ask questions, okay? The second way is to get the most out of your coach is often coaches will have optional material. So for example, anybody that joins my 6-month nutrition program, for one-to-one coaching, they also get access to my Healthy Livings Foundations course or any other material that I've ever created. And I encourage my clients to go through them. Now, I would say because it's not mandatory, not all of them do. And although some of my clients who choose not to go through that are still successful, very often, I would say a lot of the questions that actually come up in the session could have easily been answered if they had gone through that course. So with that said, take advantage of all of the optional material or additional support that's provided. For another example is in my one-to-one coaching program, we also have group support. So any and all of my one-on-one clients are able to get on a group call once a month, whether they're learning from each other or I have other guest experts come in for anything from like trainers, therapists, meditation instructors, body image experts, all the things coming in, and that's optional. And if they can't attend live, they get the replay, and some choose to watch the replay and some don't. Some choose to come on the live call when their schedule allow it, and some don't, and that's totally okay. At the same time, I can promise you that those who take advantage, they ask all the questions and they take advantage of the Healthy Livings Foundation's course, and they get on the group calls, and they're fully invested in the process, and they are constantly being reminded of all of these different ways. They're basically saturating themselves with like, this goal is important to me, this goal is top of mind, and these are the 110 ways in which I can continue to work on my health and happiness. They're more likely to have better outcomes and long-term success. All right. And then the last thing to get the most out of your coach is be clear on what you want to achieve. So going back to the beginning where I was just assuming that people are setting expectations, know that your expectations and what you want to achieve can change. So very often people come into my program and they want to lose weight and heal their relationship with food. And as we start to heal their relationship with food, they start to recognize that this weight loss goal was attached to, just false beliefs about like what they should look like according to society. And they start to recognize like, you know what, I just want to have energy. I just want to feel good. And the number on the scale isn't that important to me. Communicate that with your coach. Other clients actually maybe have gone in with like, you know what, weight is actually not top of the list for me. I really just want to heal my relationship with food. And then 3 months into the program, they're like, you know what? I actually feel like because I healed my relationship with food, I have this solid foundation. Like I'm capable of weight loss and I want to give it a try, right? So whatever it is, none of them is right or wrong. The point is that what you want to achieve can change. And your coach is the best person to really help you identify, like, if in fact that is a realistic goal to change or, adjust to. But with that said, you want to make sure you're constantly being in communication and really being clear about what it is that you want to achieve, and also be honest and share what's not working. Now, if you tried something for a week, a day, even a month, we can't really say that it didn't work if you didn't really give it all you've got. But if you just keep coming back to like trying something and it's just not working for you, maybe you were given a tool in which to track your, for example, a lot of people, so in my program, sorry, I keep going back to my program, but it's what I know. So you could get a coach for many things, but like in my program, for some people, they use taking photos of their food as a tracking tool. For others, they might use MyFitnessPal. For others, they might use Lose It. For others, they don't do any tracking at all, and they're really just more so engaged in, we give them just some guidelines and structure about like how to, plan out their meals. For some people, they use just basic like pen and paper and write it out. Either way, I've worked with people for 6 months plus, and throughout that whole process, we've kind of tried it all. Some stuck, some didn't, and some were appropriate during certain periods of their life, and other methods were appropriate in other periods in time in their life. And one of them is not good or bad, but what was clear is that we both agreed that at one point, one of the tracking systems was becoming too stressful, and it wasn't actually helping them. And I think that that's important that and this comes down to like making sure you're choosing the right coach, right? If your coach that you're working with only has one method, so if they only do macro tracking and they can't teach you behavior-based coaching, they're not the coach for you, right? So if there's only one way in which they do things, that's probably not going to work unless it's like a perfect fit, unless you're like, you love tracking macros and it's your favorite thing in the universe and you're like thrive on that, then like, yeah, macro coach is probably going to help you. But chances are if anyone has one way of coaching, they're probably not a good coach for you. Most people, they need to be able to work with a dynamic of different types of people to really accommodate your individual needs, because you are an individual. So you might have similarities to some of my other clients, but you yourself are super unique, and your coach needs to be open to that. At the same time, if you're not speaking to them and you're not telling them that this isn't working for you, then you also can't assume that you're going to love the process and that things are going to change and it's going to work in the long run, right? So communicate. All right, so just a quick recap. I want you to ask questions. I want you to take advantage of any optional material. And I want you to be clear on what you want to achieve and share what's not working for you. I think those are going to be really, really key ways for you to get the most out of your coach so that you can be really proud of yourself and achieve whatever it is that you wanted to in the long run. All right, so with that said, I been talking about it and it's happening and I'm like overwhelmed and so excited that I have 2 registered dietitians who just joined my team. So I'm currently at capacity with my one-to-one coaching of clients, but they are open because they're brand new. At the same time, those applications are coming in and I'm like pleasantly surprised that they're starting to fill up. Very excited. I thought I was going to have to work a lot harder to get their spots filled, but it seems to be coming in, which is really awesome. So with that said, if you are interested in one-on-one coaching and you want to get the most out of your coach, I have either Mary Rose or Casey. They just joined the team. They're registered dietitians with a ton of experience and so passionate and ready and excited to help you to get to your goals. Then I want you to go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to watch the video about my program, fill out the application, we'll hop on a discovery call, make sure that it's a good fit, and then based off of our conversation, I'll put you in either Casey's schedule or Mary Rose's schedule. We'll still do their initial call together. I'll still be involved in the process. So the program is a minimum 6-month commitment. So I'll have our initial call. I'll check in with you again at that 3-month mark. And then before you graduate, I'll make sure that you're kind of ready to, but you'll mainly be assigned to one of those dietitians, so either Casey or Mary Rose, but I'll also see you on the group calls that we have once a month, like I just said. So this is like the best opportunity for you. If you want to get the most out of your coach, you're basically getting a 2-for-1 deal. So I'll be kind of overseeing the whole process, and I'll definitely see you on the group calls and be communicating with you in between if you need be, but you will have another dietitian to really help you kind of sort through that overwhelm. What are the next steps? What's the goal? Where do you want to go with this? And that's really going to be ultimately how you are going to feel like you got the most out of your investment. So I'm so excited to work with you. If you're listening to this, go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to fill out the application today. All right. If you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to email me, tipswithtony@gmail.com. If you are new to the podcast and you haven't yet subscribed, definitely go and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode comes out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right. That is it for me today. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.